Ladies and gentlemen, we are live from Margate Barbell. We are back with episode number
25.
Exactly, 25, 25 for the uncultured. As a matter of fact, this is not a regular episode. This is a very special episode of 2Ps.
Ryan Taylor, aka at Tailored Lifts, Margate Barbell, baby.
Let's get it. Now, if you're new here, traditionally we like to take shots with our guests, but considering where we are right now, we figured we'd switch things up a bit and maybe get a sponsorship. Wink, wink. Hey, Ryan.
You gotta show them the can. I think that's like
it's a little bit of Celsius, you know. Matter of fact, while I'm pouring these shots, talk to the good people. Tell them who Ryan is.
I'm a personal trainer / gym owner here in South Florida, more specifically Margate Barbell. I've been in business for 8 years, pushing for that 10-year mark. So that's where I'm at. A little tired right now, but like,
we caught him at the tail end.
No, tired. Like 8 years, a little tired, but
you
really trying to push.
Tired.
Yeah. But still trying to push hard because I want to hit that 10-year mark. That's where
you got this, bro.
It's the end of the rainbow. It's where all the gold's at.
It's crazy because I was just telling Pete I got here when this gym was 25% of what it is today.
Yeah,
literally.
Yeah, it was just the one side first. I think when you came, I think I should have had the 5 racks at that point.
You had 3,
and then I had a couple.
No, you had 3 when I came.
Oh, there was 3.
Yeah, literally. Like all of this was not like this.
And what year was that?
16, 17.
So probably the tail end of 16 then.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think I had all 4 or 5 of these racks in here.
Yeah,
I might have. Oh, so can you see that? Oh, my bad.
And on that note, for 8 years of success, let us take a shot.
So
Cheers.
Cherry limeade.
Let's get the party started.
You know how we do this. We always want to basically get to know our interviewee a lot more.
On a more intimate level.
Yeah. First question. I don't know if you had either of these, but if you did or if you didn't, which one was it? N64 or PS1?
PS1.
Ooh.
I didn't get too far into the Nintendo past like the original Nintendo.
Really?
Yeah, we weren't like a big video game family.
Oh, okay.
Fortunately, I don't know how that would work out because I mean nowadays you can make bajillions off of playing video games. So
it's a different day and age.
Yeah, totally different day and age.
Speaking of PS, what games did you have?
Gran Turismo, Tekken, big Tekken fan. I mean, even to this day, you don't want to see me on the sticks on Tekken.
You know what I love about Gran Turismo? The detailing. You can mess with the flywheel. You can do so much to the car at that time.
Yeah. Being a car guy, that was right up my alley because a lot of Fast and the Furious was coming out around that time too when I got into Gran Turismo. So it was a cool little avenue to be able to like kind of play with as you were still like messing with real cars and stuff. So
that's dope.
Tekken's fire though.
Tekken is fire.
Oh, you talking about Tekken 2 at the time?
I'm talking
Tekken 3.
About all of Tekken.
Okay,
Brian is like an alternate.
I hate Brian.
Okay,
I would always get
Brian.
I would always get whipped.
You're either using Brian or getting used by Brian.
That was me. I was always getting whipped.
If somebody came with that heat and Chun-Li couldn't handle it, Brian came out and just started dropping them big heavy
There's
hands.
this one punch Brian does. He punches you in the gun
and picks you up.
I hate Brian. I hate Brian. No, he is not my guy. Like he said, if you're not using him, you're getting worked by him. That's me. That was me.
That was him. Who else was in there that I used a lot? I mean, in the earlier days, I messed with Eddie because he was doing all that breakdancing.
You know what my thing about Eddie is? Eddie was so good. In order to not hear that crying after, I'd never choose him against other people. You know what I'm trying to say?
You know who that dude is Law.
Oh!
AKA Bruce Lee, but alright.
Law. My brother used to use Law, and with that backflip kick thing, bro, you just couldn't even get close to him.
Yeah, nasty.
Law was a nasty one.
Alright, next question. I want to know, as far as sweets, do you prefer chocolates or candies?
Sorry, man. I'm not a big sweets guy. I'm savory, man. I'll take steak, potatoes,
Really?
mac and cheese. I'll
hearty
take
food
like
type of
hearty food over sweets. But if I did have to do sweets, carrot cake is my.
Oh.
Carrot cake is my
wait.
Is it the moisture for you, or what's going on?
The flavor, the cream cheese, the whole flavor profile of cheesecake or carrot cake is top notch. And for the longest time as a kid, I used to like run from it because I'm like, ew, carrots. Carrots in a cake? That's gross. And then when I grew up and took my first bite, it was love after that. And just everywhere, anywhere there's a good carrot
To go
cake.
off of the carrot cake, do you prefer with raisins or without?
I don't know why people have such hate for raisins. I like raisins. I don't care if they're in or out, but I'm a big oatmeal raisin cookie guy.
Okay.
I enjoy that little sweet tart taste when you get them.
I see. Doesn't do it for me.
Yeah.
I see raisins at the box, so I get it.
Yeah, I used to eat raisins
I
out the
would
box
eat
too.
raisins by themselves.
Yeah, that's something.
But I don't like a combination of raisins in my
Man,
food.
oatmeal raisins is where it's at.
I like that
Raisin
though.
bran?
Raisin bran.
Raisin
you
bran
can
is
eat that,
fire.
That's healthy as fuck.
Just not in my
really
potato
like that.
salad. But all right. All right, cool. That's cool. Since we're there and you just told me about that you're a savory guy, what's your favorite cuisine?
Oh, are you serious? Man, I eat food, so I don't.
I'll tell him
Anything?
Okay.
Like your
honestly,
go-to,
okay,
like your
go-to, and that's my pretty much Monday through Sunday meal is ground beef, some sort of like carb, and then just churched up. I've been on these like deconstructed cheeseburgers for a minute, so like.
Are you doing chopped cheese?
No. I use like the rice as my bun, and then ground beef as the burger, and then I'll put like onions, tomatoes, cheese, ketchup, mayonnaise in there, mix it all up, and it's like a broke down ass burger.
Gotcha.
Big old
And because
pate.
it's like so saucy, it just goes right down like easy. Like
Oh,
you don't
that's
even
fire.
feel like you're eating a lot. Yeah.
That's fire.
That's my jam. But I'd probably mac and cheese done right is heaven.
Like baked mac and cheese?
Yeah, I mean, and if you're creative and you throw bacon in there or scallions in there is really good. Green peppers and mac and cheese is good.
Ooh, you know what you're talking about. He knows what you're talking about. He knows
Mac
what
and
you're
cheese
talking
is
about.
real.
All right, I gotta make you a mac and cheese plate because my mac and cheese is fire.
Oh
Yeah, mac and cheese.
you're a food guy. That's
First,
right.
ladies and
Well,
gentlemen.
my mac and cheese is fire though. My mac and cheese is fire. All right. So, as a kid, you said you weren't a big video game house guy, but I know you had to be a Saturday morning cartoon guy.
Every kid is a Saturday
Okay.
morning cartoon guy. What did I
What
watch?
cartoon were you watching, and what cereal were you eating?
Fruit Loops was a big cereal. I mean, straight to the food because that's where my mom was at. But Fruit Loops was a big one. I used to mess with tricks, but Fruit Loops over everything. But I will say, even from a young age, I used to get down on like oatmeal and raisin. There's that oatmeal. But I forget what the brand is, but they make like an apple crisp, an oatmeal raisin, and then like a brand one. But just like
Really?
Yeah. Because my mom was always big on that. That was like the grown up cereal. And again, I eat a lot, so I would
not
blow
talking about
through.
Special K.
No, not Special K, but I'll eat that too. But I'd blow through my cereal, and then I'd get stuck with like my mom's cereal.
you're just like,
and I was just like, fuck it. And just like after eating it for so much, it just became like my jam.
That's fire.
Yeah, but cartoon wise, that Fox Kids era, I like kind of just missed because I'm 38. So like that whole SpongeBob, like Power Rangers era, I missed all that. Only because like I was too old to fuck with it. You know what I'm saying?
Like you were
I was
already
like
out- you were already out
I was
there.
like just too old, so I just missed all of it.
So, Johnny Quest?
No.
Looney Tunes?
Looney Tunes, Animaniacs,
Tom and Jerry.
Animaniacs, so
Tom and
That
Jerry.
gives me an idea where he's
That's
at.
where I was at.
I'm trying to
Animaniacs,
figure.
Rescue Rangers.
If he's saying Animaniacs,
Oh,
Rescue
Rescue
Rangers,
Rescue
yes, that
Rangers.
gives we were just singing the theme song last night, man.
Yeah, Rescue
I just had-
Rangers, Tailspin was another
Oh, we were
one.
just talking about that.
Yeah,
We were
Tailspin.
talking about this.
Yeah,
Tailspin.
Blue and shit.
That
What
is
else was? What else was on there?
Garfield and all that stuff?
I used to fuck with
Okay,
Garfield.
okay, okay.
I used to fuck with Muppet Babies.
When they were the baby joints.
Yeah. Surprisingly, I did get into Rugrats though.
Nah,
And
we
I
was
think
like that with Rugrats.
and
Rugrats was fire.
I think Rugrats was around that power. I can't remember, but for some reason, Rugrats always just like drew me in. And another one later in life drew me in too, which was Recess.
Oh, Recess fire.
That's all the
Recess
good
caught
stuff.
me too.
Recess is
Recess
fire.
was good. I
Remember
like
Randall?
that. Randall was the snitch ass. Snitch ass. What a snitch ass. Yeah, Randall.
That's hilarious. All right. So now that we got that, I got two more for you. This one is pertaining to your field. I don't know how into the world's strongest man you were, but I know who my favorite was. Who was your favorite world's strongest man growing up?
Okay, currently right now my favorite world or strongman competitor is Alexei Novikov.
Ooh.
But if we roll it back, it has
Like
to
in
be
your teens.
it has to be Mariusz Pudzianowski. And you know what's really crazy? I only really noticed Mariusz because I mean he was winning and shit,
He
but
was wilding.
Zydrunas Savickas was popping off back then at a young age, and I kind of missed that whole era where he was just running shit. And
Was he before Mario?
he was like in the midst of Mario's top peak, and then like Mario's kind of fell off, and
then he
I don't
took
know
over, kind
who
of?
took over right away after Mario's, but Zydrunas came through and just opened up shop, and then Brian came, and then you know where it is now. Thor came, Eddie came, and all of them. If you go back a few years,
So
it's
are you
pretty
watching
cool
on
to watch
ESPN at the time? You're watching it since way back then.
when I was little, I used to catch it on. It might have been ESPN.
I
don't
think
even
ESPN, it
remember.
was.
Because for some reason, even though I wasn't
I
into
think it was-
fitness, I'd catch it on ESPN only.
Yeah,
Only at that
because
time.
it was definitely
ESPN was doing all the extra stuff.
Yeah, because like you know the downtime when you don't have actual
No sport,
sports.
there's-
I think that it was like
Strongest
right
Man.
around like Thanksgiving or something like
Something
that.
like that.
I don't remember, but they just had World's Strongest Man, or I would see a lot of it around like Thanksgiving. But they just had the World's Strongest Man last weekend.
Okay.
Yeah, and Mitchell Hooper. I mean, there was many strong men before Marius that had like ripped up physiques and stuff, but I don't think nothing like Marius.
He was short, too.
Yeah, Marius was a little bit shorter, but not really. He was short in terms of like strong men.
For them,
he probably
yeah.
was. I don't know why I want to say he's like 6'2", because I think he's slightly taller than me, or right around my height. But yeah, he was still a big fucking.
He was
dude.
big, bro. He was big.
Quick. I don't think his static strength was
And
like
year
top
after
notch, but
year,
his
it was
moving
always him.
abilities were crazy.
It was always him. All right, here's my last question. I don't know if you grew up with comics or liking comics, but if you had to go back in time and figure out what were your picks in comics, like who was it that you were drawn to?
So when I was in comics for a little bit, like the first thing I think that I want to say the first ones were Spawn, just because of like the texture of the comics and like
How
the
could you not
artwork.
like Spawn?
It just looked like sophisticated, and Spawn grabbed me. And then, of course, everybody's into X-Men. X-Men was a cartoon that I
It was
watched too.
one of my
Those
favorites.
cartoons were awesome. But X-Men, Wildcats. I don't know if you guys remember.
Did you watch the show?
Wildcats.
Besides the comics, did you watch the show?
No.
Yeah, it briefly came, and it was one of those shows. If you didn't know what the channel was at,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I missed that. But Wildcats, it's some like off-brand stuff. Like Lobo was another one that I used to.
Lobo? Like
do you
Superman
remember it?
Lobo?
No, it was. I can't even remember the
What
name
did he
of
look
that.
like?
It was like a trucker guy, and like there was like a gorilla that
I gotta look at that.
Yeah, for real, I
logo.
looked that up.
And then another one was Max, MAXX.
Max.
Yo, Purple Dude, Purple Dude.
Yep. I
I
remember.
was
No
into
one
that.
ever remembers when I bring that man up, dog.
Bring that up. What else was I messing with back then? I didn't really get into the Superman, Batman thing because that was kind of like, I don't want to say it was played out, but it was kind of like everywhere.
It was
And-
oversaturated.
I don't want to.
Yeah.
Wait,
So,
I don't
like,
know
I
if this
would-
is the word you're looking for. Was like mainstream. 'Cause
Yeah,
I
it's very
when something's too
mainstream.
mainstream.
Yeah,
sorry,
I like looking at other things. I mean, Spawn was pretty mainstream too in the comic world.
Not
They
compared-
ended
not
up
compared to
compared
the
to
whole-
like no,
you know what
because
it
they didn't
is?
have like
He
a
was
big
too
series.
dark for it
Yeah,
to
he
be
was.
mainstream.
He was.
Yeah,
Like,
they
he was
had the
mainstream.
movie.
Huh?
Did they have two movies or one?
No, they had
I only seen one.
the
With John Leguizamo.
live
Yeah.
action movie,
And then there was an
then
animated
that
one.
that series on HBO back in the day that
Yeah.
was very violent.
That one
very
was
violent.
nasty.
I don't know if you remember
Like
that.
that one was
Punisher
nasty.
was a violent one too. That one was cool.
And we have something for you. We both do. We both do.
Okay.
And we figured, and it works out because it's like 2 in 1.
Yeah,
It
basically.
makes sense.
You go first.
I
'cause
got
I
him.
think you got the first
Since
one.
you're a Wildcat
Spawn guy.
We figured, why not combine both worlds? We didn't even know they had a comics that they were both together.
This is issue 1 and 2,
And 2.
out of 4.
Show them.
Issue 1 and 2 out of 4.
You know how crazy that is to me? I did not know they were together in two.
And
in one
obviously, we went to Phil's comic shop. Shout out
world.
to Brian.
Shout out to Phil's Comics. Shout out to Brian.
First thing I said, I was like, "Yo, we got an interview coming up. He likes Spawn. He likes
went in
Hellcat.
our
What do you
bathtub
got
for
for me?"
us.
He
What do we
goes,
got?
"Well, actually, I have them both in a one comic series." And I was
Crazy,
like,
bro.
"Whoa."
Crazy. You know how crazy it is? We got you this. I already had mine on the way. I was like, order some more. I need to get those.
Yep. So this is 1 and 2 out of 4. He has 3, and I believe he also has 4 coming in. So if you want to get the other 2, Phil's comic shop is right down this.
So if you read these and get interested, you know where to go now.
Bro, I've not held comics in my
Well, you're welcome, brother.
now you can hold those down, bro.
so many years. This is dope. Thank you.
Nah, thank you, brother.
Man,
Thank you.
Of course, man. Of course. Dog.
Before I start my set of questions, that was a great set of questions. I like that. You had me intrigued.
I told you I wanted to get depth. I wanted to get in there.
We're gonna get some even more depth.
Here we go.
All right. I'm a very blunt person, and my questions might show that. Nirvana or Smashing Pumpkins? Let's go!
Oh man, you're gonna have me get stoned out the streets. To be honest, I probably lead more towards Nirvana. I couldn't tell you. Food just comes. That's how I stay swole. But I honestly couldn't tell you any songs by name that either of them are known
But
for.
I can't. I'm sure you remember that it was two different sounds.
Two different sounds, but I feel like I've heard more Nirvana than I have Smashing Pumpkins.
All right.
During that era, I was pretty young when they were. I was like,
So would you say-
like 90s, right? So a lot of like the 90s, I was really more into like hip hop and like that because I'm from Connecticut, so like the Fugees were big. I mean, anybody from New York was big. New Jersey, Redman.
Bro, New York was running hip hop at one point.
That was what hip hop sounded like. That was it. Was New York, and I never really got into a lot of the West Coast stuff. I mean, except for like Snoop and a couple of Ice Cube things. But I didn't. The sound was so different, and it was just not. It just didn't feel. It just didn't feel like.
Yo, what up?
But I didn't really vibe with the West Coast sound at first, and then everything was just that New York storytelling or just like slick lit, like fucking rhyming.
Here's what's funny to me now that you mentioned the West Coast. The West Coast had it and ran with it. Express yourself, NWA, all of that stuff. Then New York had their run with it. Messing me up. Then you came down south. South had to run with it. Then Midwest had to run with it with twist. Like it's crazy how the ball got shared around.
I think around when like after that whole like West Coast East Coast like beef thing kind of sizzled out. I think there's always been that sound though, because Texas has always had a sound different than everybody else. Washington like has a sound. Chicago has their own sound.
Yes.
You know, and of course Dirty South has their sound, and then New York. That's pretty much like how it like lays out the corners.
Like north, south,
Yeah,
west, and some Midwest.
Midwest, you know.
And I mean, so those share states, you know, like Chicago is kind of like that whole upper area, but yeah, there was also that was a unique time because so many different sounds came out, and that was
Facts.
around the time when I was like starting to chase women and be up in the club and stuff. So all the songs were were dope, you know, good bangers and stuff. Especially when like the Dirty South had like their run and like Chameleonaire and
Brought it back.
Paul Wall
Paul Wall,
was from Texas and stuff. But that whole sound, the big jerseys or the throwback jerseys, throwback hats and all that stuff. That was a really fun time.
Were you a tall T guy?
I was a tall T guy, but not. Actually, I wasn't too big of a tall T guy. I take that back. I was more the double T guy. So I would wear like a white shirt on the outside and then like a colored shirt, like just so
just so it
pop
could-
out the
yeah,
top.
I
He said he's a double T guy.
double T type of guy.
Awesome. If you're on a road trip and you can only have one album to play the entire ride, what are you bringing, my good sir?
Where am I going is the question.
That's irrelevant.
No,
it's a 10-hour
man.
ride. It's a 10-hour ride.
10 hours. Cross country.
Man, that's tough. If I was on a road trip, probably my first go-to, the first sound I'm hitting the gate with is gonna be like Action Bronson and like I'll dive
Not bad.
down-
That's
I'll
not
dive
a bad
down-
pick.
Dive down that road. MF Doom, I'll dive down that.
You could have just said MF Doom and you would have been good for that 10-hour ride.
Yeah. Doing catalog is crazy.
But like, I listen. That's my get work done or like my focus like area. That's the sound I listen. Again, that's at New York. You know, like that's that sound. Dave East. Like, that's that sound. But yeah, I mean, I could be all over. Podcasts are really good. That's what I'm saying. Where am I going? You know
What so you don't ramble off a whole bunch, what podcast in particular would you listen to?
Man, there's a few, you know what I'm saying? Depends on where my head's at because I was big into like Tom Bailu and the impact theory for a while. Like some of that motivational, like just hear what business people are thinking, how they think. I like to listen to that. There's a couple podcasts that are more like oriented towards gym owners. So I listen to stuff like that, and then when that gets like too much, then listen to someone like Joe Rogan always has like interesting people on there. Elite FTS, I'll listen to the table talks because some of those lifters and stuff, just listening to their experiences and like how they got strong, all that type of stuff, you get to pick their or hear their perspective on like lifting and stuff. So that's cool.
You heard $1 Million Was the Game?
No.
With
Wallow and Gilly?
It's
a good one.
What is it called?
$1 million worth of game. It's a good
$1
podcast.
million.
It's more hip hop based and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
more hip-hop based.
Okay.
But it's
Ooh, okay. If you had to choose just one, does not matter the genre, what's a movie that you can watch over and over again and it doesn't get old?
Oh man, what is with these questions? there's so many because I really like dry humor. So like something like Office Space is something I can watch. And as stupid as it is, Ace Ventura: Pet Detective 2,
Nah, Ace Ventura. That's hilarious.
That can run. Bloodsport. I mean,
He's saying all the good ones.
what else? Belly never gets old.
Wow.
I don't care.
Great, awesome.
There's a lot. That's tough.
Whew. Now let's delve into the field a bit. I'm sure you've been injured before. What's the worst injury you ever experienced?
Low back. When I herniated this mess back here, that was by far the worst fucking pain I've ever. It took a while to get to the bathroom because off the couch I had to try and hustle and bustle as quickly as I could to get to the wall. So then I had something to lean up against. Once I got to the wall, I rode the wall until like the kitchen was like over here, and then I kind of like made it to the kitchen to hold on to the counter, and then bounced off the counter to get to the wall, and then just kind of rolled off the wall to get
Only a mutant, not a regular human, could do this.
Sitting, like trying to sit up, it felt like my hips and my upper body was like this. Like it didn't feel like a broken joystick.
It felt firm and it's loosey goosey.
So it was scary. It felt like not smart to like try and sit up and bear pressure on it. So I basically was like on my back with my feet like up,
Elevated,
like this,
okay.
and just taking the weight off my like decompressing it with my
Brother, golly.
back. But yeah, that's the worst fucking thing. I don't
My
wish
back
that on
hurts just thinking
anybody.
about it.
It's funny you said that because he always used to tell me whenever I be doing a back workout, protect your back, P.
Yeah.
Protect your back.
Learn how to brace.
Yes.
And even with the proper brace and all that shit, I mean, it's still a thing. It's still a factor.
One was done. We got two more questions here. Out of all the workouts and movements you've done, which one is your favorite? No matter how grueling it is, you don't mind doing.
Squat to me is the lift. The deadlift is a solid one too, but I'd rather squat. I can confidently put like a lot of weight on my back and take a squat before I confidently pull something off the floor. It's just I don't know. It's just to me it's a well-rounded lift. I mean everything's in there. Everything's in there. It's the king of the lifts. That's why you do it first.
I like that. Last but not least, what is it that got you into lifting? No, let me rephrase that. What is it that got you into fitness, and why powerlifting?
I got into fitness because of a broken heart, and then that's. I mean, if you lift, I mean, you know, that's where it's at. Lifting is very therapeutic, you know.
Very.
And
We were
plus,
talking about it a few Saturdays ago. It's just the clinging.
the noise, the everything, the feel of the bar, the struggle, the sweat, you know, how difficult things. I'm the type of guy that likes difficult things. I don't like usually taking the easy route, even if it doesn't make sense and it's not efficient. I still like taking the more difficult route. It's almost like you're testing yourself.
Yeah,
you know, 'cause, I mean,
for sure.
I mean, why go through it easy? Really experience this thing while we're here. So
Life isn't easy, so I totally agree with that. Like, you're not gonna escape life whenever it gets hard. You can't just enjoy the easy parts. You gotta experience the whole adventure.
Yeah, you gotta enjoy those hard parts because then the good parts are that much sweeter.
The rewards.
The rewards are so much better. The rewards are so much better. But yeah,
That's awesome.
Powerlifting though.
Oh, why powerlifting? So when I got into lifting, it was, you know, to try to enhance myself so that, you know, I was more attractive to the ladies. I guess that's just like how your mind
This
works,
is
I
the
guess.
stuff I want. This is the good stuff.
You're trying to get big for the chicks, and then eventually it turns into like guys are the only ones that are complimenting you. Or even give a shit about how big
I'm
you
trying to
are.
be like you.
Yeah. So then that switch happened, and once that switch became like distinctive, like women don't give a shit about this. Then it was like, all right, well, I truly love like lifting. Let me be the biggest, baddest motherfucker in the room, and then it just became like a like that sort of vibe. So I wanted to lift the most, I wanted to be the biggest, and I wanted to be the strongest. You know what I'm saying? So that all kind of eventually guided me towards powerlifting because I didn't even know powerlifting was a thing when I first started working out. It was all
I didn't know either.
bodybuilding and stuff. I didn't find powerlifting until I was probably 28. Yeah, so it was like late, and I started lifting around 18.
You found it around 28. How long did it exist before that
Long
time?
before me. It was way before me. I mean, I don't know how far powerlifting dates back, but I mean, 60s, 50s, I'm sure. I mean, lifting and strength sports started, I believe, in the circus. It was like they would have dudes do like these crazy feats of strength. That's kind of where like
With the crazy dumbbells.
Yeah, it's weird shit like that, and then they'd have like that kind of led into strongman, and I think like I'm not sure when like the birth of like Olympic lifting came through, but originally it used to be like a super total. So it used to have like your two Olympic lifts, your clean and jerk, your snatch, and then your squat, bench, deadlift was like a typical meet. And then they eventually like split it because that's a long ass fucking day. So they like split it, and then Olympic weightlifting went this way, and powerlifting kind of went that way. And powerlifting was considered the odd lifts, and they it wasn't always squat, bench, and deadlift. If I remember correctly, it was like strict curl.
On the barbell.
Yeah. Fuck. I don't want to be wrong, but I know it wasn't squat, bench, deadlift. But I know strict curl like was in there. But they were called the odd lifts. I should know that. I'm embarrassed. I apologize.
Crazy how far we came. With that, time flies when you're having fun. This is 2 P's and a.
Dad jokes all day.
We're king of dad jokes.
King of dad jokes.
Ryan Taylor, aka at Ted Lifts, here at Margate Barbell.
And this was episode 25.
Cinco.
Till next time, people.
Thank you.